I turned a soulless office into chaos and laughter until my boss slashed my review, so I refused to save morale, exposed the damage, and reclaimed a promotion. I was the office's fun guy, running Xbox Fridays, playlists, and parties. Then my boss docked my review for attitude, so I stopped. Within weeks, productivity died. HR stepped in, and I got promoted to fix the mess he created. I used to be the guy keeping my office sane, running the memes, playlists, and free snacks, didn't get paid for it, didn't complain either. Then management decided to make it weird. Before it all went sideways, let me start from the beginning. My name is Eli Torres. I'm 29 and I work as an operations coordinator at a company called Redline Solutions. I've been here 4 years, which apparently makes me a senior citizen in corporate years. My actual job description says something about streamlining workflows, but somewhere along the line I became the guy who keeps everyone from losing it. Unofficial title, the Vibes Department. Most mornings started the same. I'd unlock the floor and drop my backpack by my desk. On Fridays, I'd post the Slack poll, something simple like, would you rather have Control-Z in life or delete Mondays forever? Within 5 minutes, half the office voted and started arguing about it. It was honestly the only time people typed in full sentences before 10 a.m. After that, I'd do my rounds, restock the mini fridge with Red Bull and water, throw out the expired snacks, and wipe down the counter. There was a handwritten sign taped to the fridge that said, "Take one, leave good vibes." I wrote it as a joke 2 years ago, and somehow it was still there. Then I'd queue up the office playlist, mostly 2000s hits everyone pretended to hate but secretly loved, and check the meme channel. That channel was basically my child. It was full of dumb screenshots, inside jokes, and the occasional cursed PowerPoint meme. It was also probably the only reason most of us hadn't rage quit yet. The lineup. Brad Coleman, our fearless manager, talked like he'd swallowed a LinkedIn webinar. Every meeting started with something like, let's align our synergy and action it around deliverables. He said value add so often I think he invoiced people per usage. Cara Bloom from HR was genuinely nice, just aggressively cheerful. She once made a color-coded spreadsheet for Gratitude Week. She meant well, though, and she was one of the few people here who actually listened. Marcus Lee handled finance. Quiet, sarcastic, always had trail mix. He was the only one who got my jokes, which I respected. When Marcus laughed, it was a major achievement. Tasha Nguyen was our designer and the agent of chaos. She was the one who once changed the conference room wallpaper to Shrek memes to boost morale. She was funny, fast, and slightly terrifying during deadlines. And then there was Trevor Halpern. New guy, project coordinator, transferred from another branch, and immediately started acting like he was here to fix our workflow culture. He wore a tie on casual Fridays, sent recap emails after meetings that could have been a Slack message, and said things like, let's optimize that touch point with a straight face. His favorite phrase was looping Brad in. He said it like he'd invented it. There were a few others floating around, developers, marketing, sales, but most only appeared when there was free food or cake. Every Friday afternoon, I set up Xbox Friday in the break room. It started as a joke during a brutal sprint a few years back when everyone was burned out. Now it was a full-blown ritual. We played Call of Duty, NBA 2K, FIFA, ate tacos, and talked trash for a few hours. The office actually felt alive. I also ran Taco Tuesday polls in Slack, which were way more intense than they should have been. Last week, the debate about flour versus corn tortillas turned into a 2-day thread. Tasha made a meme about it, and somehow it ended up in a client presentation slide Brad used. Nobody questioned it. That was pretty much the dynamic here. Organized chaos held together with caffeine and sarcasm. I kept it from tipping into full disaster. People came by my desk to vent, share weird links, or grab a drink. Sometimes I fixed the printer. Sometimes I calmed down clients. Sometimes I just handed someone a cold soda and said, try again tomorrow. None of it was required, but it kept things running smoother. One morning, while I was restocking the fridge, I heard Trevor in the hallway talking to Brad, voice all serious. I just think the meme channel might be distracting some people from core tasks. Brad went, interesting, like he was about to conduct a productivity study. Tasha walked in behind me, rolled her eyes, and whispered, bet he writes synergy on his grocery list. When I got back to my desk, Brad gave me that fake friendly smile. Hey Eli, quick question. Do we really need memes in the general workspace? I shrugged. They boost morale, cheaper than therapy. He chuckled like I'd made a good point but still didn't get it. Right. Just making sure we're aligned. That was the thing about this place. Management wanted fun culture. But the second someone actually had fun, they started sweating. Trevor kept forwarding articles about productivity. Brad kept saying team synergy like it was a spell, and I kept doing what I did, keeping the lights on while pretending it was part of the job. By noon, people drifted over to my desk like usual. Marcus grabbed a drink from the fridge and tossed me a bag of chips. Tasha showed me a meme draft she was saving for Monday. Kara walked by smiling and said, "You're the only reason people still come in on Fridays." Maybe she was right, maybe I was. But I didn't think too much about it. I didn't get a raise for it or a thank you email. But I knew one thing for sure: when I stopped doing it, everything slowed down. So yeah, I never signed up to be the office mascot. But somehow that was exactly who I became. The day everything started going downhill was the day Brad won a Leadership Excellence Award for building a culture of engagement. That was the full title. It sounded impressive until you realized culture of engagement basically meant me keeping the place from collapsing. They held a little ceremony during our Friday meeting. Someone from upper management joined the Zoom call to announce it. Brad did his fake modest laugh, saying, "Oh, this is really a team effort." Then he launched into a 10-minute speech that sounded like he was reading a thesaurus of business jargon, empowerment, alignment, innovation, and synergy. He didn't mention my name once, not a single word about the meme channel, the Xbox Fridays, or how I'd been keeping morale alive since before half the team got hired. Marcus leaned over and whispered, "Guess culture means taking credit efficiently." Tasha looked at me and mouthed, "You should have gotten that." I just smiled like it didn't bother me, but it did. I wasn't expecting a trophy, but hearing your boss get praised for the stuff you built feels weird, like someone else getting Employee of the Month for using your Netflix login. After the meeting, Brad came by my desk holding the plaque. "They'll be sending out a company-wide email about it," he said, all proud. "We're really setting a benchmark for engagement." I nodded. "Yeah, sounds like it." He didn't notice the sarcasm. He never did. That would have been fine on its own. But the second hit came a week later. It started with a meme. I made a corporate buzzword bingo board just for fun. Each square had words like synergy, circle back, low-hanging fruit, action items, and my personal favorite, proactive ideation. I added vibes check in the center for the free space. I dropped it in our team's meme channel with the caption, "Winner gets to leave the meeting 5 minutes early." People loved it. The reactions blew up. Laugh emojis, raccoon stickers. Even Kara from HR dropped a lol. A couple of hours later, I noticed Trevor had commented, "This is hilarious," sharing it with the other project group. I should have known. By the next morning, it had spread to a wider company Slack thread, including managers and one executive from HQ. Someone even printed it and taped it to the break room whiteboard. I got a message from Brad at 8:17 a.m. "Can you swing by my office for a quick sync?" That's never a good sign. When I walked in, he looked serious. The meme was on his screen. "We need to be careful with this kind of content. Some people might take it the wrong way." "It's a joke, Brad." Everyone thought it was funny. He sighed like he was about to deliver bad news on live TV. "Leadership has to maintain professionalism. Humor's fine, but optics matter." I wanted to say, "You got your award for the culture I built, and now you're mad the culture's funny?" But I didn't. I just nodded. Then came strike 3. The next day, Brad posted a long message in Slack about revolutionizing synergy and cross-functional alignment. It was so over the top I couldn't resist. I dropped a Michael Scott facepalm gif from the office under it. 15 minutes later, I got a calendar invite, chat with HR. When I walked in, Kara was sitting there with a manila folder and that careful HR smile, the kind that says, "This isn't personal, but it's definitely bad news." There were printed screenshots of my meme and the gif on the table. "We just wanted to have a quick conversation about tone and professionalism," she said. Some employees felt the content might not align with company values. Trevor was in the corner pretending to take notes, nodding like a concerned guidance counselor. "Some employees or one employee?" I asked. Kara ignored that. "It's nothing formal, just a reminder to be mindful of communication tone." I apologized because that's what you do in HR meetings. "Got it. Won't happen again." But inside, something just clicked off. I wasn't mad exactly. Just done. Fine. "You want professional? I'll be professional. I'll be silent." That night I sat on my couch with my laptop open, thinking about it. Maybe they were right. Maybe I joked around too much. Then I remembered all the unpaid hours I'd spent planning fun events, cleaning up after office lunches, buying snacks out of my own pocket. None of that was my job, but I did it because it made the place bearable, and the second it made management look bad, suddenly it was a tone issue. That was a Friday. Over the weekend, something just switched off. If they wanted sterile professionalism, they were going to get it. Starting Monday, no memes, no jokes, no free morale. The following Monday, the silence spread fast. Slack used to light up with memes and random thoughts. Now it was just project updates and the occasional thanks. The meme channel sat untouched. The last post was still my buzzword bingo meme, pinned like an artifact from a better time. At 5 p.m. sharp, I unplugged the Xbox from the break room TV, coiled the cable, and took it home. Nobody said a word. By midweek, the fridge started turning into a war zone again. Passive-aggressive sticky notes returned like weeds. Who took my chobani? Not cool to eat someone's lunch. Label your stuff. Some of us are adults. I missed when the worst argument was whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Meetings felt like dentist appointments. Brad would try to make small talk, but it always came out awkward. Hey Eli, all good? Yep. Okay, great energy. Let's keep that momentum. Then he'd look around like he'd just said something inspiring, and the rest of us would stare at our screens until it was over. The first real test came when finance announced snack budget cuts. Apparently the company was tightening discretionary spending. Brad forwarded the email to the team and added his own note. Remember, snacks are a privilege, not a right. He probably thought it was motivational. It wasn't. Within a week, the break room shelves were empty. No chips, no granola bars, not even stale pretzels. You'd think we were living through a famine. Meanwhile, Trevor decided it was his time to shine. Since I'd gone quiet, he apparently saw an opening to become the office motivator. Monday morning, he posted in Slack, discipline motivation. Stay focused, team. No one reacted, not even an emoji. Next day, success doesn't come from comfort zones. Still nothing. By Friday, he was attaching stock photos of mountain climbers with captions like, "Keep pushing." The silence after each post was louder than my old playlist. The whole office started running on autopilot. No jokes, no banter. Even Kara stopped sending her cheerful gifs in the general channel. People came in, worked, and left. It was efficient in the most depressing way possible. You could feel how unnatural it was. A few days later, Tasha tried to fix things. She posted a meme in the old channel, a raccoon holding a coffee cup with the caption running on caffeine and trauma. Normally, it would have blown up with reactions. This time, nothing. Not a single emoji. She deleted it after 3 minutes. That's when it really hit me. The place was quiet, not just in sound, but in spirit. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty about it. After a month of dead silence, Brad decided it was time to bring the spark back. His words, not mine. Apparently, someone had told him morale was slipping. Instead of realizing why, he decided to rebrand himself as the office's fun dad. It started small, emojis everywhere, 3 per sentence, and suddenly we were fam. Let's crush this project today. Happy Monday, team! Then came the meeting. Midway through a sprint review, Marcus was presenting a revenue chart when Brad cut in and said, "That's bussin', right?" Silence. Real heavy silence. You could hear the click of Tasha muting herself because she was about to laugh. Marcus fake coughed and said, "Sure, Brad! Totally bussin'!" Brad grinned like he'd just unlocked Gen Z mode. That same week, Trevor officially appointed himself Brad's sidekick. The man was everywhere, always one step behind Brad, carrying a notebook like he was documenting greatness. "I can spearhead culture initiatives," he offered during a call, leaning forward like he'd just volunteered to storm Normandy. 2 days later, he launched Morning Motivation Minute, a Slack huddle scheduled for 8:45 a.m., just a short pep talk to start the day strong. Nobody joined. He sat there alone, camera on, waiting. I know because I saw the little green dot next to his name for 15 minutes straight. Then HR made things worse. They sent out an announcement. "Let's pick a team mascot." It was supposed to be a fun team-building thing. Brad, of course, took it very seriously. "I think the Golden Eagle works as a mascot. Leadership, vision, strength," he said in the meeting, standing like he was pitching to Shark Tank. Trevor nodded immediately. "Love that. Very aspirational." The rest of us voted for raccoon. Marcus said at first, "We survive on scraps and caffeine." Everyone laughed. Tasha ran with it. By the next morning, she had designed a full logo, a raccoon holding a coffee mug with dark circles under its eyes. She named it Ricky the Raccoon. We uploaded it to Slack as an emoji, and it spread like wildfire. Within hours, Ricky replaced every old reaction. Brad pretended to like it. "Love that creativity, team," he said, clearly dying inside. A week later, HR doubled down and scheduled a vision board workshop. Some outside consultant came in to help us visualize our professional goals. She brought magazines, glue sticks, and way too much confidence. Everyone sat around the conference table cutting out random pictures like kindergartners. Brad was gluing photos of light bulbs and people high-fiving. Trevor's board said, efficiency through alignment in giant letters. Mine had a taco, a beach, and a dog wearing sunglasses. I wrote work-life balance at the top. The consultant stopped behind me and smiled like she'd found a hidden genius. That's symbolic, she said softly. Yeah, I said, of lunch. She didn't stop by my table again. Then came the moment that nearly broke Kara. Someone in operations got laid off. Brad, trying to engage with empathy, reacted to the announcement with a crying face emoji. Kara DM'd me 5 minutes later, I'm 2 emojis away from quitting. By spring, Brad had a new obsession. AI. He called it the future of workplace efficiency. Translation, he discovered ChatGPT and thought it could replace human interaction. He announced it in our Monday stand-up. We'll be using AI to enhance communication and optimize leadership outreach. Everyone just stared. Marcus whispered, he means emails, right? Brad grinned. Exactly. Imagine saving hours drafting messages. This is innovation, folks. A few days later, the first test went live. Brad sent out a company-wide birthday message clearly enhanced by AI. Subject line, happy birthday, employee name. Body, happy employee name. Your work means a lot to company name. Keep thriving and synergizing. He forgot to replace the placeholders. By noon, everyone had a screenshot. It spread through Slack like wildfire. Someone replied with the Michael Scott, oh my God, it's happening GIF. And the meme flood started instantly. Within an hour, there was a new format, happy chaos. Your leadership means a lot to pain. Then came the Team Spirit survey in April, tied to the AI rollout, 50 questions, all painfully corporate. The first one said, please list your name for tracking. So much for anonymous. Question 7. How inspired do you feel by leadership's vision? I wrote about as inspired as a printer jam. Question 23. Describe our company culture in one word. I put snackless. A week later, HR published an internal newsletter featuring positive employee highlights. One quote stood out. Our workplace reminds me of a printer jam, messy, but full of potential. I almost choked on my coffee. They literally used my sarcasm as a motivational quote. By early summer, the office had that kind of quiet tension you could taste. Every quarter, HR ran an internal employee engagement survey. Usually no one cared, but someone, probably Kara, forwarded the raw results to the wrong thread. Suddenly, the entire company had access. The summary was brutal. Question, what's the best part of working here? Top answer, Eli Torres? Question, what's the biggest drain on morale? Top answer, communication, aka Brad and Trevor. Slack exploded with raccoon emojis. By Wednesday, Brad had called a team reflection meeting, his damage control special. The agenda said rebuilding trust and accountability. Trevor started it off. He stood by the projector like a TED Talk reject. I think it's important to note that some of these results reflect disengagement from certain individuals. When someone who used to lead by example checks out, it sets the wrong tone for the team. The room went still. Before Brad could chime in, Kara, who'd been sitting quietly in the back, stood up. I'd like to share something, she said, plugging in her laptop. A slide popped up, a line chart labeled Department Morale Index first quarter to second quarter. The line was steady high, then suddenly nosedived. She highlighted the dip. This drop happened the week Eli stopped managing informal morale activities. Silence. Tasha's mouth twitched like she was holding in a laugh. Marcus leaned back and said, that's pretty clear data. Brad cleared his throat. Well, we can't rely on one person for engagement. Kara didn't flinch. Apparently, you already did. The meeting wrapped with the usual nonsense about collaborative recovery, but the tone had changed. For once, everyone saw it, how the fake positivity came from the top and the real stuff had been running through me the whole time. Later that afternoon, Kara messaged me, can you stop by HR tomorrow? Want to run something by you? The next day, her office smelled like vanilla candles and disinfectant. She smiled as I sat down, looking almost proud. So, she said, after reviewing survey data and performance metrics, leadership wants to create a new position. We're calling it Employee Engagement Specialist. I raised an eyebrow. That's a real title? It will be, she said. It comes with a 15% salary increase, a quarterly event budget, and you'd report directly to HR. Not under Brad? Correct. I didn't even try to hide it. Yeah, I'm interested. She slid a printout across the desk. Salary bump, responsibilities, even a note about creative autonomy. Just one condition, I said. No unpaid events and no forced fun. Agreed, she said. We want this to be real, not performative. I signed the paperwork. The following Monday, I took the walk. Brad's door was open. He was pretending to look busy, eyes glued to an empty Excel sheet. Trevor was sitting across from him, nodding at nothing like a bobblehead with Wi-Fi issues. I knocked once. Hey, just giving you both a heads up. I'll be moving under HR next week. Brad looked up confused. Oh, really? What for? They created a new role, I said. Employee engagement specialist. Trevor blinked. Engagement? Isn't that? Yeah, I said. Exactly that. Brad's face twitched. Well, congratulations, I suppose. Who's handling morale now? I smiled. Guess you'll have to circle back on that. Then, I walked out. By lunchtime, the announcement hit everyone's inbox. Subject, exciting news. Congratulations to Eli Torres. We're thrilled to announce that Eli Torres will be stepping into a newly created role as Employee Engagement Specialist. For years, Eli has been the heartbeat of Redline's culture, and we're excited to see him continue to bring his creativity and leadership to company-wide initiatives. Slack exploded, raccoon emojis everywhere. Tasha pinned the original Ricky meme with the caption, "The King Returns." Kara added, "Yep." Trevor went offline for focus time. Brad didn't say a word. 2 months after the promotion, things finally stopped feeling like a bad sitcom. My new title, Employee Engagement Specialist, still looked ridiculous in my email signature, but every time I saw the pay bump hit my account, it grew on me. Kara set me up with a small office on the HR floor, window view of the parking lot, working AC, and a door that actually closed. A massive upgrade from my old spot next to the copier that sounded like a jet engine. On my first day, she handed me a company card and said, "Don't abuse the budget, and try not to spend it all on tacos." "I'll do my best," I said, which was a lie. I started simple. Built a morale calendar. Not the forced everyone must participate kind Brad loved, but an opt-in system. Anyone could volunteer to host or help, and if no one did, fine. No guilt trips, no we're one family speeches. Then I formalized Snack Cart 2, now an official company expense. HR approved a weekly restock budget, and I even got a shared spreadsheet to track requests. Marcus handled the math because, well, finance guy. The snack selection became an office obsession. People started leaving sticky notes like, "Save me a Kit Kat," and Ricky says thanks. Next, I revived DJ of the Week. Every Friday, someone new took over the office music. Rule, no skipping, you commit to the chaos. First week was Kara, pop hits and acoustic covers. Then Marcus, who went full 2000s pop punk. Brad walked in during Sugar, "We're going down," nodded like he was pretending to recognize it, and walked right back out. Even Xbox Fridays came back. This time properly scheduled and budget approved. We added a sign-up sheet to keep it fair, and HR paid for pizza. Over the next few weeks, things started to move again. People actually said good morning. Slack came back to life. Kara even joined the meme channel, posting a raccoon sticker with the caption, "Keeping spirits up responsibly. HR humor, you love to see it." One afternoon, Marcus dropped a Snickers on my desk without saying a word. A few seconds later, he turned back and said, "Glad you didn't quit, man." "Me too," I said, and I meant it. Brad mostly avoided me now. Every time I passed him, he gave a tight smile, the kind that says I'm being polite, but also hate this situation. Trevor, though, he couldn't help himself. He came by my new office one morning holding a clipboard, looking like he was about to conduct an audit. "Hey, Eli, just checking if you need any help tracking morale metrics. I've been working on some pivot tables." I stared at him. "Yeah, sure," I said. "I'll circle back." Of course I didn't. The first major event I organized under my new title was End of Quarter Appreciation Friday. We had a taco bar, trivia, and a chill playlist. By noon, the break room was packed. People actually stuck around instead of grabbing food and disappearing. Brad showed up, clipboard in hand, smiling stiffly, nodding at everything like he was grading it. "Great energy in here," he said to no one. Trevor followed him in, hovering near the snack table, narrating everything. "This is awesome, Eli. Great turnout. Love the initiative." They both left about 10 minutes later. After they were gone, the vibe relaxed again. Trivia got competitive. People were laughing. Someone spilled salsa and no one cared. For a moment, it felt like a normal place to work, not a corporate experiment. Friday rolled around again. Xbox, music, snacks, the usual. I was packing up when Marcus walked over holding a controller. You in? Yeah, I said, just one round. We played until the lights flickered, everyone laughing at Tasha trash-talking like she was in the finals. When the room finally emptied, I leaned against the counter, finishing my soda. The fridge hummed quietly. Someone had taped a new note to it in Ricky We Trust. Snacks for all. And I didn't write that one either. For the first time in years, I wasn't patching holes or covering for anyone. I wasn't the office mascot anymore. I was running something that actually mattered, and getting paid for it. They used to call it unprofessional. Now it's in the budget.